Here's what my rich friends do differently from others. So a couple of days ago I met one of my friends in the grocery store. And this guy, he's quite interesting because he is quietly wealthy. He has a lot of assets and his family is really rich. But you cannot see it on the outside. On the outside it would look like he's a normal person. So I thought it could be interesting to go through what some of these people are doing, what my rich friends are doing differently from most people, and what we can learn from them, rather than being intimidated by these people like most people are. So this guy, he does not have the need to display a rich lifestyle. He doesn't need to show that he has made it, or he doesn't need to compare to his peers or people from the same class or something, because he knows what he's worth. So this guy, he owns large areas of land with forests, and he also rents out cabins to tourists. And you could think that if he's so rich and he's doing so well, he wouldn't need to do anything else. But as a matter of fact, at times he has worked normal working class jobs just to pay his bills and to be able to let his assets compound. Because also one thing that signifies these people are that they don't want to sell off assets in order to pay their bills. They think really long term. This guy, he plants trees, and then it will take 60 to 70 years until they are fully grown and ready for harvest. So they really think for the next generation. A normal person would maybe think, he could just sell off some trees every year and then pay his bills with that and use that money for buying groceries. Well, then if he did that, the family fortune would soon be gone, because if each person in the family had done that generations before him, he wouldn't have had any land with these forests. And this ties into the next point, is that these people, they separate their large economy from their small economy. Their large economy is their assets, the big bulk of the assets that they own. And they want that to be able to compound without touching it. They want that to be able to compound and grow for the next years and until the next generation. So, and the small economy, that is their kind of checking account, what comes in each month and how they pay their bills. But these two are kind of separate. This guy, he's super frugal. He buys his groceries in a store where most working class people go to shop their food. He does not go to these fancy stores with high prices and luxury stores, because he has to focus on getting most out of his money. So when he spends $100, he wants to get a lot for that, and he knows in these stores he will be able to get more for that. Another friend that I saw the other week, their family has a lot of assets. He lives in a small mansion or a small castle, and but if you would meet him in the street, you would think that he's a normal carpenter or electrician or something. And this guy, he is focused on building and renting out houses, because in Sweden, where I live, the tax laws are quite generous for that. So that is something that he's occupied with, and he's really good with building, carpentry, and doing things by himself. And that leads into the next point, is that these people, they are not afraid to do some dirty jobs, to get their hands dirty. It would be so easy to think that these people sit and drink Bordeaux wines and go only to fancy restaurants and these things. No, he's out there doing hard labor work, but for himself. He renovates his own houses so he can rent them out. So he's focusing on cash flowing assets that will grow in value and produce cash flow for him. He told a funny story that, one time I accidentally chopped my finger off when I was working with a saw. So he's really a tough builder guy. You would never think that he's so well off. So what can we learn from these people? Because it is so easy to be intimidated by them, and many people, like, they only talk bad about people who have more than them, because that's their mechanism of, like, their safety mechanism. That's their way of keeping themselves safe and not feeling less worthy. So they talk down about these people. But that is stupid, because then we will never learn anything from them. So the question is, what can we learn from them, and how can we implement that in our own life? One point, frugality. Frugality is enormously important. Many people, like in the middle class and the upper middle class, they are really focused on displaying wealth, to look rich rather than being it. They want to go to that school reunion and feel that they have made it compared to their peers. and they're really concerned about what their family and what others think of them. So they want to really buy that really luxury car and take a huge car loan to display this looking rich. But not these guys. They are not concerned about that. They want to keep the money working for them. They are focused on buying cash flowing assets, growing their net worth, and leaving the money compounding for them, so they don't need to take it out and pay bills with that money. Most people in the middle class, they have a sense of pride in their work and feel that some jobs are below them, and that is really easy to fall into. But these people, these friends, they are not afraid to get their hands dirty and do really tough jobs like building, renovating, renting out cabins, and maybe sometimes they need to clean and like dirty jobs, and they are not afraid to do it to get what they want. So the third thing that these people do is they have a long-term focus. They want to grow their wealth for the next generation, whilst most other people, they think about next week or the next month. That's the time span most people have in their minds. Not these people. They think, how can I keep my money growing for the next 50 or 100 years so that my family will be well taken care of? Like the guy who plants trees, who owns forests and plants trees that will take 60 to 80 years until they're fully grown. You know, how can we start plant trees that take that time to grow? How can we do things for the long term that can really change the way we think about our finances and our life and our family? And the fourth thing we can learn from these families is that not interrupt compounding. Most people, if they have money in their bank account, they then go and spend that on a holiday. They spend it on a new car, new clothes or something. These people, they want to keep their money working for them and growing for the long term, because they know if they can let this money compound, if they can let these assets grow for the long term, that will have a huge benefit for them and for their family. Hope you got some ideas today. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next week.